Hello and welcome to Sports News. It was a Naira windfall for victorious Nigerian athletes and their officials who did the country proud at international competitions in 2014 as President Goodluck Jonathan doled out cash rewards for them at a reception in their honor at the banquet hall at the presidential villa. Some of the beneficiaries include medalists at the African Senior and Junior Wrestling Championships and those from the World Powerlifting Championships. The president also rewarded all medalists at the Commonwealth Games, with each gold medalist smiling home with 2.5 million naira.
To the present has not been easy. Realizing the significance of sports in national transformation, I took the decision to organize a retreat for the sports sector in 2012. This arose from my conviction that our outing at the 2012 Olympic Games did not represent our full potentials. Of course, if you look at the continent of Africa, we have the largest population. We have the highest diversity. Of course, today, our economy is also the largest. So if we are united and we are approaching things with that common approach, the Nigerian spirit, there is no way we will not be bringing victories back home. I think any competition in Africa, third position is not good enough for us. Because in all the other parameters, we are never told. I am happy to note that things have progressively changed for the better since that retreat. I therefore wish to commend the National Sports Commission for the dedicated implementation of the decisions taken at that retreat. To our sporting heroes and heroines, your sporting exploits have gone a long way in the promotion of our country's image in the Committee of Nations. At each of these competitions, your zeal and dedication has been remarkable, and Nigeria's flag has always been raised high to the delight and glory of all our citizens.
Nigeria's President Goodluck Jonathan. Officials of the Nigerian Table Tennis Federation believe the start of the new National League will aid in the development of the sport. The league, which served off today in Lagos, had 4 players in a team going against each other. In the men's category, Nigeria's Civil Defense Corps beat University of Lagos 3-0. G20 of Abuja defeated Union Bank 3-1, while in the women's category, NSCDC beat G20 3-2.
Is a good one because it's going to make everybody that participated in this competition to be improved. Because you are going to play with different hands, you are going to play with every other thing that comes here, because it's going to be a round robin matches. So there is no way you will participate that you won't improve.
I am very impressed about the quality of play, particularly coming from those players that we will not regard as grade A players. We gave intentionally opportunity to very little players who otherwise would not have had the opportunity of playing against top stars in this country, and they're doing fantastically well, so I'm very impressed.
Don't forget that we are starting the league for the first time. Sometime 4 months ago, we started with a trial league, and it was very successful, so we decided that we're now going to start a normal league for the NTTF, and the winner of this championship will go to represent Nigeria in international events.
To football, where Europe's football governing body UEFA says it will not support any ideas by the English Premier League to play competitive matches overseas. The Premier League's chief executive, Richard Scudamore, was widely criticized 6 years ago for a plan to introduce an extra match for each club called 39th game at venues in Asia, the United States, Australia, and elsewhere. However, it has been reported in Britain that clubs have discussed the idea again, and that the revised plan will be for one of the existing 38 rounds of 10 fixtures to be played at various venues around the world. UEFA failed to support the idea at first, and its General Secretary, Gianni Infantino, says the body would not change its position on the issue. That's it on Sports News. The news at 10 continues shortly.
On the foreign scene now, the UK has announced it'll be introducing checks on arrivals at its airports for visitors from Ebola-affected countries. In the new measures, passengers could be subjected to medical checks by trained medical personnel rather than border staff. They'll also be given advice on what to do if they develop symptoms later. Although entry screening is not recommended by the WHO, the UK Chief Medical Officer said it was right to consider what further measures could be taken to ensure that any potential cases arriving in the UK are identified as quickly as possible. This comes as the UK is investigating reports that a Briton suspected of having Ebola has died in Macedonia. Now, staying with the foreign scene, efforts at countering the Islamic State militants are still ongoing as Turkey's foreign minister reiterates that it cannot be expected to lead a ground operation against ISIL in Syria on its own. Here's Cynthia Areh with more.
Well, thanks a lot. In addition to that, he also called for the creation of a no-fly zone over its border with Syria after talks in Ankara with the new NATO chief. Turkey is under intense pressure to do more to help Kurdish forces fighting ISIS in the strategic Syrian town of Kobani. Then he might have been accused of orchestrating the 2007 ethnic violence, which led to the deaths of 1,200 people. But he has been welcomed home in Kenya after his appearance at the International Criminal Court in The Hague. Mr. Kenyatta attended a hearing at the ICC on Wednesday, becoming the first serving head of state to appear there. Also today, clearly the Ebola virus is no longer deemed a West African threat, but a global one, as health officials in Queensland are now testing a 57-year-old nurse who recently returned from Sierra Leone for the Ebola virus. The nurse was a volunteer with the Red Cross in West Africa, treating patients with the deadly virus. Finally, yet another shooting has occurred in Missouri. An off-duty police officer in St. Louis, Missouri has fatally shot a black teenager, leading to angry demonstrations on the streets. The white officer was on patrol for a private security company when he exchanged fire with an 18-year-old after a chase. He fired 17 shots at the teenager. And that's the foreign news wrap-up. It's back to you, Ijoma.
Well, thanks a lot, Cynthia. And the main news again. The World Bank and the International Monetary Fund have commended Nigeria for containing the Ebola virus disease in the country. And words of commendation have also come from the World Health Organization, endorsing Nigeria's efforts at containing EVD. And the United Kingdom has been investigating reports that the death of a Briton in Macedonia may be due to Ebola. Well, that's the news at 10 tonight. Many thanks for staying with us. I'm Ijoma. Good night.